All right, everybody, I've seen enough. Travis Hunter is the wide receiver one in the 2025 NFL draft class. Not just the best player, but the best wide receiver. Let's get into the tape and talk about why I've come to this conclusion. And a lot of it has to do with the improvements that he's made. I think we've seen a couple of people come out and talk about how he's not a great route runner, things like that, Richard Sherman. But what I'm looking at him is he's a very nuanced player. He uses a lot of speed dilation, stem manipulation. For all those who don't know, it's speed dilation is timing down your route, whether it's going fast to sell one thing or if it's slowing down to sell another. So you've got two defensive backs out here in these parts of the area, and he's going to the middle of the field, but he's not going to sell vertically because he understands that this is man coverage, that safety is going deep, and he has inside leverage on the in route. And then he shows off advanced body control on the catch. What I love about this is that, Shedeurs is moving out to his right here. He's going to throw the football over the middle, and he has to stop. So he has to put his foot, and he slips, right? He slips, and he's able to come back, catch that football, quickly bring it back to his chest so that the incoming defensive back, which again, he knows has outside leverage and is already going to be on top of him when this ball comes in, he makes it so he controls that and secures that catch, bringing it to his chest so he does not drop it. That's advanced stuff. All of this type of, regardless of whether it's the in route or what he's doing, the stem manipulation, the speed dilation, all has translatable qualities. And the fact that he's doing a lot of this on the outside also brings me a lot of confidence that he can translate everything he's doing to the NFL. Yeah, he's listed at 6'1", 185 pounds. We've seen far less and smaller receivers not only translate, but become very successful at the next level. And this is one of the plays that it gets me extremely excited. So when we're looking at what Colorado's doing here, they're bringing a wide receiver around on an orbit motion to the right-hand side of the offense. Then they're going to have the running back released behind him as well and have Shedeur move to his right. A lot of movement out that way. They're going to release upfield here with Jimmy Horn Jr., who's going to take this to the corner. Another one who's coming out to the right. And then just scraping across is going to be Travis Hunter. So you have a lot of movement to the right-hand side, and then Travis Hunter is going to leak out. But watch how he's going to get there. You have multiple defensive players that are coming this way trying to reroute him. First, stem is forward like he's going to block, and then he's by him into that second part of the defensive back coming towards him. A linebacker this way, stops, comes underneath it, right into space. That's the kind of next level movement you want. And he translates it into yards after the catch so quickly. He gets up to speed with such explosion right here after that stop and start. He gets that reacceleration going so he can really take advantage of all the space that's given to him, not just from a route running perspective, but a yards after the catch perspective. He's so quick, and he's like I said, he's able to translate most of what he's doing, that kinetic energy, to potential when he stops, and then back into all of that kinetic energy. He's so explosive with the football in his hands and out of his hands. You can do so many different things. And you can win from the slot as well. When you have the type of speed that he does, again, with a little bit of speed dilation, he's not exploding out of the stance. He's not just taking off and burning this guy deep because it's based on timing. He wants to make this defensive player right here, this linebacker or underneath defender, he wants to make him think he could go anywhere. So I'm coming out here with a little bit less speed. I can go here, cross your face. I can go out. Or when I get to stacked you, when you're right next to me, that's when I'm going to turn on the afterburners and I'm going to clear away from you into this gigantic void. And then he does something that I don't know if I've seen many people do. He looks over his shoulder for the football. Okay, here's the ball. Right here. It's being released right now. And Travis Hunter looks back in front of him right here, making sure that there's nobody in his way, so then he can adjust to where the football is and if it's going to be thrown out in front of him or if it's not. So he understands right now that he's got two different defenders colliding. So chances are this ball's not going to be thrown out in front of him. So that's, again, taking what he's seeing and processing it, and then he's going to jump for the football because he's going to track it once again and see that it's slightly underthrown so that he can keep going, and he's showing off that ball tracking as well. That's elite level ball tracking, to be able to look away from the football after you see the trajectory that it's on, find where you think the football is going to go, and make a determination of what you're going to do with the football when it gets down there. That's just so fun to see on display from Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, who really have an elite understanding of space for both of these different players. And that connection that they have is truly special. And Travis Hunter, we all know, is an excellent corner. And that's going to also help him understand, and it already has helped him understand, how corners are going to play him with that next level type of nuance to they're going to be playing outside leverage. I know how to kind of beat that, or if they're got inside leverage, I know what they're going to probably do. It's so much fun to watch. If there's one thing that's going to give you a little bit of pause, a little bit of hesitation, is just the wiry frame. Like, he's not super light, obviously at 185. I think he can probably put on a little bit of weight and still maintain his movement skills. But if you time up some of these jabs, these jams from corners on the outside, you're going to be able to throw him off of his route a little bit faster and going to make him play a little bit longer. I do think he's gotten better with hands throughout the route concept, with hands throughout the stem multiple times. You see him against press coverage. He's working the hands, swipes, swims, things like that. And then he has that mentality where I'm going to go get the football no matter where it is. And I think that on that play specifically, he might have thought differently. He clears finally and he's like, yeah, I'm open. I reestablished myself. It throws the hands up. Then we get the defense, the safety coming clean. You don't want him to take some of the hits. He's already dealt with a couple of injuries in his career last year, multiple injuries. Lucky he was okay from that. But he was right back on the field after this play, doing just fine. Like, he's got that mentality of the number one receiver that you want him to have. He doesn't feel like there's nothing, he doesn't think there's anything he can't do. And I love that type of mentality. And I truly believe it from a skill set standpoint and then an application standpoint as well. Like, he does a very good job of trying new things and getting it through. And this play, he lines up on the outside, up at the top of your screen. Earlier in this football game, he had a block where he missed, and it was more of just a push, and then he stopped blocking. He plays with a lot of energy, and he was really upset with himself after seeing the play end up coming out to his side and not blocking that defensive back. And this time he does a much better job of staying with the block, knowing that they're going to get a little bit of a leak from number 4 here, Hampton, and they want to get him the ball in space. So you have the block on this side. Now he's blocking a little bit early on third down, but I like the effort, right? He stays with it. He tries to do what he can to make sure Hampton has a better shot of getting a first down. Just make sure to time it. Obviously, he doesn't know where the ball is when the ball's coming out. So just the simple fact that he wants to stay with this, and he does a good job of, again, creating a lane for the wide receiver to maybe run off of him, is the type of mentality you want from a blocker. I don't think he's going to become like a terrible blocker in the NFL. He gives effort, and he does play very hard for whatever he's doing. So the ways you can utilize him, short side of the field, long side of the field, it doesn't really matter. Reduced split, slot, outside, he can win from every single one of them. And this is another one of those plays that's drawn up specifically for him to create a little bit of havoc. And he's just going to be kind of leaking off to the other side of the field. And once again, this is now Shedeur showing that he can throw a little bit into space, right? A little bit of anticipation throw here. But what I like about this is that he's going to be leaking underneath, identifying where he has to go with his route, and he can make high speed moves look very easy. So again, he's coming up underneath here, getting space, getting speed, and then he's got to change his trajectory out here, and then he's using his hands. That second level defender that he ends up clearing before he gets into space is what I want to focus on. So he's coming across the formation here. Again, he's got to see where everyone's coming. So he's going to end up coming out this way and just avoiding some contact from number 11. You see there he goes as number 11 goes to the outside here. Travis Hunter's able to cut up underneath, and then you see, again, he's going to come out this way. You're going to have another defender coming out towards him right down there. And this is where he does excel, I believe, moving in space with that frame. Again, he's a unique type of athlete that can make all these type of things. And right here, again, he's going to kind of lean into the defender, knowing that the football's coming his way on third and long. He's going to lean into the defender, and then he's just going to swim right through it. And he left him in the dust. That's the type of movement and anticipation and then reading the defense that you want at not just this level, but at the next level. He does feel space. He can get into space and do whatever he needs to against these defenders that leave them looking like this, right? And that's what you want to see. So after all is said and done, I think that Travis Hunter has legitimate work to become a number one receiver in the NFL. And this is where you see Colorado finally use a little bit of the manipulation in his route running, where he's going to use that stem manipulation, the head manipulation, to make this safety bite on the route concept to the right. So you got a curl post. So right there, Jimmy Horn Jr. is running the curl. So you've got the post right here, curl, post behind it, and that's where the safety is like, okay, they do this a lot. They love to attack the middle of the field, right? Well, that's right. They do love to attack the middle of the field, but they've got you this time biting on that move, and he's able to take it upfield and just blow past him. Now, Shore gets hit, obviously, as this ball comes out, but he won. I think he may have caught the football anyway. I know it didn't count as a catch, but like he forces the pass interference on the play because he understands he's in the position that DB is not getting his head around. So he just kind of stops and leans into him and tries to make the catch. That's what you need to do. He's got a really advanced understanding of that. Some receivers you see that won't do that because maybe they're not very good at playing the ball in the air, or they've lost it in the lights. They can't track it properly. But he tracks it at an elite level, and he has all of the wherewithal and the mindset in those split-second situations to make plays happen. Speaking of making plays happen, I think that being able to make those second reaction plays has become so important in the NFL, specifically with how space is taken away down the field by defenses and quarterbacks are getting moved off their spot. So here, Shedeur Sanders is going to get moved off to the right, and watch in the slot, once again from Travis Hunter, just running an out route. He gets his head around very quickly, okay? And he's going to see that my quarterback's getting out of the pocket, so I'm going to move into space. All right, so he stops, sees Shore getting up, and then he's got space to his back right. So he's going to go ahead. Plays breaking down. Quarterback's getting out of the pocket. I'm going to make a play down the field. And because he understands this receiver's going down the field, this safety probably is not going to be guarding the middle of the field. He's going to go with him. So he understands that as well. And he gets into space. And then he shields the football. Another opportunity to understand, I've got defenders coming at me from both sides. This ball is going to be thrown to a spot. I'm going to go get this instead of letting it come to me, right? I'm going to go make sure that I shield the football, protect it, and make sure I come down with it and it doesn't get popped out. Again, that mental side is always so clear with Travis Hunter. And then we know he's a trick shot artist, right? He makes plays. He can do all of this. He can make the crazy one-handed catches in the end zone. But the feel for not just the position, but the defender, right? This is just in low red zone, inside the 20-yard line, inside the 15, and this is just stacking the receiver on top, right, or the DB on top, and turning his head around to find it. And that's the one-on-one situation that Shedeur Sanders wants, and he's going to put it, again, to an area where Travis Hunter can go get it, and the DB can't find it. So it's patience. It's patience. It's patience. Understanding that as you move to the outside on that quote-unquote fade, that the DB is moving with you. Using that momentum, he just gives him a little side swipe, arms through, comes back, catches the football, high points it, gets 2 feet in bounds. Next level stuff. This is exactly why, to me, Travis Hunter is the wide receiver 1 in the class. And I love Tetairoa McMillan. I think he's a fantastic receiver. What Travis Hunter does from the yards after catch standpoint, the electric ability he provides, while also still getting better from the route running perspective and defeating press and being able to do stuff like this just at the same level as a McMillan with the high pointing stuff, I think is a ridiculous attribute to have. And then you add all the movement skills. So the ball tracking, the athleticism required to do a lot of the things that he does from a movement standpoint, explosiveness, yards after the catch. And I still think he's a very good route runner. That's why, as someone who thought he was going to go play cornerback in the NFL, I see him as the best the best wide receiver in this class. He and Will Johnson are so very good, and they're going to be battling for the best players in this draft class. But right now, I don't think there's anybody in the receiver world that's playing better from a technical standpoint and also from everything else in terms of yards after catch and showcasing what they can do. So I'm a really big fan of Travis Hunter, and I do believe he's taken that step to be the number 1 wide receiver in this class. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. If you're new to the YouTube channel here at TDN, make sure you hit that sub button. I've got more takes coming and more videos coming every single week. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. Hit that like button on the way out, and I'll see you next time.